When most people think of animation, they picture cheerful mascots, colorful fairy tales, and stories designed to comfort children. But animation has always had a darker, stranger shadow running alongside it. Across decades and continents, filmmakers have used animation to explore politics, trauma, sexuality, death, and existential dread in ways live action often couldn't. Many of these films were misunderstood, poorly marketed, or simply too unconventional for mainstream audiences, leaving them forgotten over time. Hidden beneath the surface of animation history is a collection of bizarre, unsettling, and fascinating works that feel like they slipped through a crack in cinema itself. These cartoons come from different eras and cultures, but they share one thing in common. They are strange, daring, and unlike anything most viewers have ever encountered.
So I still will set the stage.
10. The King and the Mockingbird, 1980. This French animated classic is far more than a whimsical fairy tale. At its core, it is a sharp political satire disguised behind elegant animation and poetic imagery. The story unfolds in the kingdom of Tachycardia, ruled by a narcissistic and authoritarian king obsessed with control, power, and his own reflection. A mockingbird acts as the film's moral voice, openly ridiculing the king and encouraging resistance. When a humble chimney sweep and a shepherdess fall in love, the king's jealousy turns them into fugitives within his own mechanical city. Visually, the film is filled with towering architecture, surreal machinery, and dreamlike cityscapes that feel both magical and oppressive. Giant robots patrol labyrinthine streets, symbolizing unchecked authority and dehumanization. The film's long and troubled production history, spanning more than 3 decades, adds to its strange, fragmented tone. The result is a haunting blend of romance, fantasy, and dystopian commentary that feels timeless and deeply unsettling beneath its storybook surface. Nine. The Sea Prince and the Fire Child, 1981. This tragic animated romance from Japan reimagines the essence of Romeo and Juliet through mythological fantasy. The story centers on Sirius, a prince born of the sea, and Malta, a princess of fire, whose love defies ancient gods and elemental laws. Their worlds are locked in eternal conflict, and their union is seen as an unforgivable transgression. From the very beginning, the film makes it clear that destiny is cruel and mercy is scarce. The animation is lush and operatic, filled with glowing oceans, burning skies, and cosmic imagery that elevates the story into something almost mythic. Unlike most animated features of its time, the tone is relentlessly somber. The gods are indifferent, fate is merciless, and love is punished rather than rewarded. Its atmosphere is heavy with melancholy, making it a deeply emotional experience that lingers long after it ends. This is animation as tragedy, refusing comfort or happy resolution. Eight. Unico in the Island of Magic, 1983. At first glance, this film appears to be a gentle children's fantasy featuring Unico, a small, innocent unicorn capable of bringing happiness to others. But beneath its cute exterior lies one of the darkest animated narratives of its era. Unico encounters a cruel sorcerer who drains life and humanity from people, transforming entire villages into lifeless stone puppets. Families are frozen mid-motion, their souls erased, leaving behind hollow shells. The contrast between Unico's soft, rounded design and the nightmarish imagery surrounding him is deeply unsettling. The animation doesn't shy away from fear, despair, or the horror of loss. Entire landscapes are filled with silent statues staring into nothingness. Despite being marketed toward children, the film explores themes of cruelty, abuse of power, and emotional devastation. It stands as a perfect example of how animation can be deceptive, inviting viewers in with innocence before confronting them with darkness. 7. Wicked City, 1987. This film represents the extreme edge of adult animation, plunging headfirst into horror, eroticism, and grotesque fantasy. Set in a world where demons secretly coexist with humans, the story follows two agents tasked with maintaining a fragile peace treaty between realms. What unfolds is a barrage of violent encounters, body horror, and nightmarish imagery that feels intentionally overwhelming. Visually, the film is drenched in neon-lit darkness, with distorted anatomy, monstrous transformations, and surreal cityscapes that mirror moral decay. The animation is fluid and intense, emphasizing movement and physicality in unsettling ways. Its atmosphere is oppressive, erotic, and deeply uncomfortable, pushing boundaries that few animated films dared to approach at the time. Wicked City is not meant to be pleasant. It is a confrontation, using animation to explore taboo territory with unapologetic boldness. Six. Starchaser, The Legend of Orin, 1985. Often dismissed as a strange imitation of Star Wars, this animated sci-fi epic is far more peculiar than its reputation suggests. The story follows Orin, a slave miner who discovers a mystical sword capable of challenging a tyrannical overlord ruling a distant galaxy. From there, the narrative spirals into space battles, ancient prophecies, robotic villains, and bizarre alien civilizations. What makes the film truly strange is its tonal inconsistency. Marketed as family entertainment, it includes surprisingly violent deaths, dark themes of oppression, and a bleak sense of survival. The animation blends traditional hand-drawn styles with ambitious sci-fi imagery, creating a chaotic but fascinating visual identity. Its experimental 3D theatrical release further adds to its odd legacy. Uneven, ambitious, and undeniably weird, it feels like a time capsule of unchecked 80s imagination.
They've stopped firing!
5. Twilight of the Cockroaches, 1987. This hybrid of live action and animation tells a story no one would expect, a tragic drama about the lives of cockroaches. The film portrays roaches as intelligent, emotional beings living secretly within a human apartment. They celebrate festivals, fall in love, and build a fragile society hidden from human awareness. The tone shifts dramatically when a woman moves into the apartment and begins exterminating them. What starts as quirky satire transforms into a bleak allegory about genocide, displacement, and survival. The animation gives the cockroaches expressive faces and human emotions, making their suffering deeply uncomfortable to watch. By the end, the film forces viewers to empathize with creatures typically associated with disgust. Its strangeness lies in how effectively it turns revulsion into tragedy. Four. Rock and Rule, 1983. Set in a post-apocalyptic future populated by humanoid animals, this animated musical blends dystopia, fantasy, and rock culture into a chaotic vision. Humans are extinct, cities are decaying, and music has become the ultimate source of power. At the center is a demonic rock star who seeks to summon an ancient evil using the voice of a young singer. Visually, the film is gritty and stylized, with dark urban environments, exaggerated character designs, and surreal musical sequences. The involvement of real-life rock icons adds to its surreal energy. The narrative is messy, but the atmosphere is intoxicating. A strange mix of rebellion, excess, and apocalypse. It feels like a product of its era, soaked in 80s aesthetics and countercultural ambition. Three. A Monkey's Tale, 1999. This European animated film disguises a heavy social allegory beneath the surface of an animal fable. Two tribes of monkeys live completely separate lives, one above ground, one below, each taught to fear and distrust the other. When a young monkey accidentally crosses between worlds, he begins to uncover uncomfortable truths about lies, propaganda, and inherited prejudice. The animation style appears playful, but the themes are deeply serious. The film explores racism, division, and the construction of fear through education and tradition. Its tonal shifts, from comedy to moral horror, create an unsettling viewing experience. Though rarely discussed outside Europe, it stands as a strange and thoughtful example of animation tackling societal issues head-on. Two. The Adventures of Prince Achmed, 1926. One of the oldest animated features ever made, this silent film remains one of the most visually hypnotic works in animation history. Created entirely with hand-cut silhouettes, the characters move like living shadows against luminous hand-painted backgrounds. The story draws from Arabian Nights folklore, featuring sorcerers, magical creatures, and enchanted realms. What makes it strange is its dreamlike rhythm. Movements are fluid yet unnatural, creating a hypnotic sense of otherworldliness. There is no dialogue, only music and motion guiding the viewer. Even nearly a century later, the film feels alien and mesmerizing, proving that animation's earliest experiments were already pushing boundaries far beyond conventional storytelling. One. Felidae, 1994. At first glance, this film appears to be a simple animated mystery about cats. In reality, it is one of the most disturbing animated films ever produced. The story follows Francis, a house cat who investigates a series of brutal murders within his feline community. As the mystery unfolds, it spirals into themes of cult worship, genetic experimentation, and existential horror. The animation is shockingly graphic, depicting blood, mutilation, and psychological trauma in explicit detail. Its noir-inspired atmosphere blends philosophical monologues with visceral violence. Felidae subverts every expectation associated with animated animals, using their innocence to heighten the shock of its brutality. It remains a deeply unsettling, unforgettable example of how animation can venture into the darkest corners of storytelling.
Where have you come from? Who are you?
If you enjoyed this journey into the hidden corners of cinema, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and most importantly, subscribe to Cinemira for more strange, forgotten, and fascinating films. Your support keeps this adventure alive. And trust me, there's so much more to discover together.